Shan Wu is a former counsel to the US Attorney General and a CNN legal analyst. Well, you've obviously read at least a good portion of this. How much culpability, forget pride, ego, and whether it's simply embarrassing, but legal culpability, bearing in mind the New York State tax authorities are looking into it. What's the liability for the president?
Most likely, the liability is going to be a civil one. There's not going to be a statute of limitations on either the federal tax authorities or the states going back to see if there was an underpayment of taxes. They are quite relentless in their own way on that front. On the criminal front, much more difficult. There's going to be statute of limitations. Many of these actions are quite outdated in terms of being able to prosecute them. And perhaps most importantly on the criminal front, there is going to be walls and layers and more walls and layers of defenses in terms of accountants, lawyers who may have brought in. Things like this are quite complex. I mean, there's a tremendous job of investigative reporting to explain it in plain English for people like me to understand. If that were to go to court in a criminal investigation, it would just be armies of accountants defending that these were discretionary, these were creative ideas, very difficult case to criminally prosecute.
Donald Trump has never released his tax returns, claiming that he was being audited and therefore he would only release them after the audit. And then into the first few weeks of his election, basically he said, no, you're not going to get them at all. Does it matter? Does it matter, do you think, if the President of the United States has been involved in shady tax affairs?
I think it does matter. I think the great value in stories like this is it kind of deconstructs the mythology about this idea that he's a self-made man. And if it politically, as opposed to legally, forces him ultimately to release those tax returns, in conjunction with things like Michael Cohen, turning government evidence, there may be more current illegalities that surface because of that. So the disclosure of those tax returns is not only just a political egg in the face for him, but I think that does potentially cause criminal liability possibly.
And can the U.S. population be assured that the IRS won't be instructed to ignore this? I mean, yes, it's independent, but at the same time, a lot of those people who would be controlling and making decisions are political appointees.
Absolutely. I think that's a very valid concern. At that level, it's quite possible that there could be some type of direction. It would need to be not very overt. I think that the structure of these institutions, if there's a direct order like, don't do this, don't look into this, that's not going to go over well. But there can be subtle pressure put on them.
I was going to say, it won't be as vulgar as don't. It's who will get rid of this troublesome priest, or whatever the was. Good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.